Hine Tonight we pray completely. Shelter us with love so sweetly. Tonight, please fight the dangers from our eyes. Please, God, protect me from sorrow. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha, ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu lechaim ulshalom. Tonight with prayers unspoken,
בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמונה עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
Be the light inside the darkness, be the hope, burning bright into the night, be the voice, for those who cannot raise it, be the one who leads the way through the world's darkest days, be the light. Be the light, be the light. When days feel long and all that's left inside you, our darkest days reach for the light to guide you. The miracle of change begins with sparks of light we find within that shine. If we come close together, we will see a people strong, a shared humanity. To transform darkness into light, to lead with love instead of might, we shine. We shine. Be the light. Be the light inside the darkness. Be the hope, burning bright into the night. Be the voice, for those who cannot raise it. Be the one who leads the way through the world's darkest day. Be the light. Be the light. Be the light.
Shabbat Shalom. See, nobody else can hear that, but I could. That was a very energetic Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to you all in the middle of the summer. We're gathering inside, although we would like to be outside. We're going to try to make that work at some point this summer. But kind of take a look around, because for the next hour or so, we're going to share life together. And hopefully we'll sing some songs and we'll meditate together and try to bring an end to our week and a beginning to our Shabbat. Let's start on page 10. How good it is that we are all here together. Page 10. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. Let's do that part again. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shever achim gam yachad. See, we start to sing a little bit. It gets our bodies vibrating, brings in that Shabbat feeling. I'd like to ask Michelle and Sienna to come up to light the candles for us this evening as we turn to page 2 in the Siddur. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you so much. You can wish Shabbat Shalom to the person next to you if you haven't already. And we're going to continue now with our review of the week. I offer the following. This evening takes place in 1 month of 12. This evening takes place in 1 week of 52. This evening takes place in only 1 day of 365. But this evening is different than all of the others. It is unique. It is alone. And you are here. This evening you can forget about any other day. This evening you can let go of the days that came before. This evening you don't have to think about what days are coming after. This day, you are here. This evening, the week that was. This evening, the week that will be is a complete mystery. This evening, you are here. At the end of the week, and there's no place to go. Breathe in the week and let it out for now. Breathe in the clutter in your mind and let it out for now. Breathe in your breath, your existence, your life force, and let it out. For now is all there is, right now. Chazarat HaShavua, a review of your week. We continue to welcome Shabbat on page 2020 with Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi, Ya la 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 Likrat Kala, Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekabe. Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi, Ya la 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 Likrat Kala, Ya la 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 Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diborecha, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shem ultiferet v'litchila. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, Lecha Dodi, Ya la 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 la, Likrat Kala, Ya la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Let us rise and face the entrance as we welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst. Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha uvtzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala, ya la la, ya la 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 la, Lecha Dodi, ya la 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 la, Likrat Kala, ya la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekabela. Let's continue on page 28 with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai.
「あなたの愛は
In a moment, we're going to continue with the Shema, which is found on page 35 and 36 in the Siddur across the page. And if you, 34 and 35. And if you look carefully at the words that are on that page, I'll explain it. And actually, no, it is not on that text here. The Shema is the first word of the Shema. The last letter is ayin. It's larger in the text. At the end, the last word is echad, meaning one, and the daled is larger. You put those letters together and it's eid, which is a witness. And I like to think that when we sing the Shema, what we're doing is we're witnessing our connection with each other and witnessing, standing up and saying, I'm here, I'm witnessing it, I'm experiencing life and the connection our lives have with all life all over the world, all life in the universe, and that it's all somehow tied together. And when we sing the Shema and we say there is a oneness, that oneness is like no other because it is the oneness of everything. And we're a part of that oneness. So let's close our eyes for a moment before we sing it. And feel our breath and our heartbeat, which goes on whether we do something or not. That's what every human being on this planet does. That's what living beings on this planet do. We share the air, we share the space, and we share this time. And as we sing Shema, we stand as witnesses to our own lives. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Let us move to page 40 as we sing the same song that the Israelites sang as they came out of Egypt. They get across the Sea of Reeds. They're so excited. I don't know if it was this melody, but it certainly was these words. Join with me. Mi Chamocha, top of 40. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, norati lot, o seifele, o seifele. Malchutcha ra'u vanecha, בוקעם לפני משה ומרים, מלכותך ראו בניך. בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם, לעולם ועד. ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, We moved now to page 42. We turn to the third line on that page. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. I think it's understood that when you go to sleep at night and it's dark and you're lying in bed, sometimes, you see the monsters on the wall, or you might hear creaks in the night. And even if you don't hear any of those things, it can be a scary, lonely time where darkness surrounds you. And I think this prayer is meant to kind of allay our fears, that it's going to be okay, that over each of us is a shelter of peace that allows us to sleep peacefully and then wake in the morning, just one measure of more peace in our lives. And hopefully that peace will permeate the world, and one day we will all be at peace. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. And then we go to the bottom indented section about halfway down. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Let's try that again. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim ol shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. As we move forward, you'd like to go to page 253 in the Siddur, but also the words will come up on the screen. We move to Misha Berach, blessing for those who, it's really for all of us. Because anytime someone we know isn't feeling well, it makes us not feel so well either. So, one might say, we say Misha Berach for all of those people who are ill, but the first part especially is for us to have strength. Because sometimes it takes that to go be with those who are ill. So we'll read the first half, and then I have a list to read. I don't know if you've noticed, but Cantor Weiss isn't here this evening. Right? We would have noticed her if she were here, right? So we can't go on to Facebook and YouTube to grab those names. I'm sorry about that. But we have a nice list here, and then I'll come around and I'd like, if you would, as I recognize you, I'll make eye contact with each person. Please call out the name or names of people you love and care about that are in need of healing. And then we'll gather those names together, bring them into our hearts, and sing on behalf of all of those that are ill. Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Charles Ehrenberg, Linda Barad, Donna Berg, Jean-Claude Berthet, Shalom Bluestein, Bernard Birnbaum, Lester Boxer, Eitan Chaim, Marge Churchick, Woody Clark, Joseph Cohen, Patty Goodman, Andy Hale, Helene Hale, Lori Haynes, Cindy Harunian, Jeremy Hutchins, Dora Kamara, Sis Klein, Russell Kunk, Ira Laufer, Marissa Bat-Yaakov Reuven, Verifka Adina, Sheila Merowitz, Daniel Papp, Merle Prop, Rachel Bat Chana V'Chaim, Chaya Rachel Bat Karmi Adina, Harav Aharona Bat Tzvia V'Yosef, Rivka Adina Bat Hana Davida V'Simcha Yosef, Warren Roston, Dorothy Salkin, Ruth Schwartz, Leonard Shapiro, Rhoda Sharp, Lindy Sobel, Paula Warner, Sonia Ann Weggy, Theodore, Yaakov Reuven Ben Shlomo, Miriam Rachel, and Howard Zelikow. Mi shebeirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, We move now to page 46 in the Siddur. We've reached the Amidah. We'll sing just this first line together that asks that God allow what comes out of our mouth to be directly from our hearts. And so you leave a little space. First three words, 3 tiny steps back, leaves a space in front of you for you to step into on the last 3 words. And so let's rise together. We'll do this first melody, and then we'll go silent when you're about page 62, or prayers in your heart. You may be seated, and we'll continue on in a moment. Adonai tzvatai tiftach, Adonai tzvatai tiftach, ufi agid tilatecha, ufi agid tilatecha. We close out the Amidah on page 60. Sing a song of peace. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol et uvechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Shabbat Shalom. I can't believe it's been over 3 weeks since we've been in Israel, but that first day that we arrived in Israel, we went one day early and spent the day kind of hanging around Jerusalem. And that was January, wow. That was June 16th. Now, June 16th might not mean anything to you, but for Michelle and I, my wife, it was actually the exact day, 30 years to the day, that we met in Jerusalem. I knew that would get a, oh, right? Not only that, but we wanted to go to the original first place that we met, but it was a little bit far away, and we ended up walking through town and found our way right in front of the YMCA. And that's really where our relationship kind of began, was there we are. There we are. Oh, then we looked at each other and then, whoa, that's a little risque for a Friday night service, my friend. But that was literally like 30 years after we met, right? At that point, 30 years ago, weren't married, had no kids. I hadn't started working here yet. I mean, to think about what's happened in the last 30 years in our lives, then you think about what's happened in the world in the last 30 years, and it's mind-boggling, right? But the fact is, I was thinking about that picture. You don't have to bring it up again, Daniel. I was thinking about that picture and how ignorant I was to everything that was going to come after, right? I had no idea what was going to happen in my life based upon meeting this person on this fateful day in the middle of the summer of 1992. So at that moment, all those years ago, both of us didn't know how significant it was. We were completely ignorant to what was happening in our lives, and that moment would actually lead us towards the rest of our lives. Really. So this week, in our Torah portion, we read about a guy who was a prophet. He wasn't a Jewish prophet. Matter of fact, he's the only non-Jewish prophet or non-Israelite prophet that's in the Bible or in the Torah. His name is Bilam. And on this Torah portion, there's a king Balak, doesn't like the Jews. He sends Bilam, this prophet slash sorcerer, to curse the people Israel. And Bilam says basically, listen, I'll do what you want, but once I get there, whatever God puts in my mouth, that's what I'm going to have to say. And he goes there the first time and he praises the Israelites. Balak doesn't like that. Gives them more money, sacrifices more animals, says go back. He goes back a second time, praises the Israelites instead of cursing them. Balak is getting even more angry, gives him more money, sacrifices more animals, sends him a third time. And the third time he overlooks all of the Israelites and he really wants to curse them badly. And instead he says, Ma tovu oalecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. How wonderful are your tents, O Jacob. How beautiful are your living spaces. Again, doesn't curse them. But there's a really curious moment that happens before all of those blessing curses. He's riding along on his, I'm going to say donkey, just because this is a PG service. We already had kissing on the screen. So he's riding on his donkey, and the fact is God didn't want him to go. Even though God told him it was okay to go, God doesn't want him to go. And so God sends an angel to stand in front of the donkey with like firing swords going like this in front of the donkey. So there's the angel standing there, and the donkey starts moving to the right and crushes his leg against the wall. He gets really mad and he pulls the donkey back. Again, he brushes him up, shows up in front of the donkey again. The donkey moves aside, brushes him up against like a tree, and he scrapes his leg, moves him again. It happens a third time, and finally, Bilam strikes the donkey. And the donkey turns to him and says, out loud, in whatever language Bilam speaks, I'll translate it for you. Why are you hitting me? Have I ever acted like this before? What is going on here? At that moment, Bilam says, his eyes are open, by the way. After that, he sees the angel, and he says to the angel, I've sinned, for I did not know that you were standing in the way against me. If it displeases you, I will turn back. I've sinned because I didn't know you were standing in the way against me. Now, this was an angel that only the donkey could see. Why is Balaam so upset with himself, and how is it possible that he sinned? The fact is he didn't see it. There's another time where a very famous character in the Torah says, I didn't know what was going on here, and that's Jacob. After he dreams about the ladder, he wakes up and says, God was in this place, but I didn't know it. Jacob is not punished, but somehow Bilam is, and made out to be a sinner and a bad person based on what he does. Rabbi Isaiah Shur of Jassy, a Hasidic commentator, offers this. There are some things that one does not know, which in itself is a sin. If a son strikes his parents, he cannot justify his act by saying that he did not know that it was forbidden to strike your parents. Take a note of that, Michelle. A king's bodyguard cannot claim that he does not know who the king is. Similarly, a prophet, which is what Bilam was, cannot claim he did not know that an angel stands before him. This is what Bilam claimed. I have sinned in that I did not know. Since I am a prophet, I should have known that an angel stands before me. This ignorance in itself is a sin. There's a part of me that likes it, right? that's saying, okay, I can accept that. But Rabbi Shur, I think, believes, as many do in tradition, which is that Balaam was just a really bad prophet. You know, why would they want Balaam, who is a non-Israelite, to be a good prophet, right? So they're going to try to find every excuse they can to put him in a negative light. And yet through the story, when you really look at it, Balaam constantly says, I'm only going to say the things that God puts in my mouth. I'm not going to make up something. I'm not going to just praise these people, curse these people if God doesn't want me to curse them. And indeed, every action that Balaam does is what God wants him to say. So at all other times in the story, he proves himself to be a prophet. But this one moment, no. I think it actually may be something else, though, that was the sin in this particular case, which brings us back to the beginning. I feel like Balaam was obsessed, too concerned with the end of his journey. I think he didn't care about the journey itself. I think that he had too much interest in, I've got to go to that place and I've got to prophesize. I've got to go to the Israelites because I'm being paid by this guy to go and do that. And in his mind, all he was thinking was, okay, when I get there, I'm going to curse them. When I get there, I'm going to do this. And all he's thinking about, it's kind of like, have you ever been on the freeway and you're thinking about where you have to go and all of a sudden you missed your exit? That's what I felt is going on inside of Balaam at this moment. He couldn't see anything right in front of him. He could not see any of the signs. He couldn't see the angel. He couldn't understand why the donkey was acting this way. He didn't question anything when the animal actually talked. It was only when his eyes are just open to see the angel that he finally admits, oh, there may have been something going on here. So blinded by the outcome, so blinded by the end of the journey, he didn't think to imagine that those small moments in the middle of the journey actually affect the outcome. Perhaps that's the message for us. So many times I find myself looking forward, imagining what's coming next, and I don't stop to be here now. I don't take the time to notice every moment that has brought me to this next place that I'm going. You know, maybe this is just a mindfulness reminder a little bit, but I was thinking, right, you know, this happens all the time. You have a wedding, and you're so caught up in the planning, you miss the moments of love that are leading up to it. Or you're having a baby, and you're looking so forward to the bris. I'm not sure who looks forward to a bris, but you're looking so forward to the bris or the naming that you miss the first spit up, which is a very exciting moment. Or you have a new job and you look forward to finding your office and you miss looking at the people that you're actually going to work with in that office. Any goal. If my head is so far ahead of my body, I'm going to miss everything where my body is. And instead, I'm going to be thinking about something that's way beyond this very moment. So all those years ago in Jerusalem, if we'd been thinking about where that journey was going to end up, after marriage, after kids, after career, perhaps we would have missed every one of those incredible moments that we've had over those 30 years that have brought us to that time where we were standing in front of the same spot. If all we were thinking about was, oh, someday we'll be married and we'll have kids and we'll have a career and then we'll be old and gray or bald and, blah, 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 blah. And all we're thinking about is where we're going to be in 30, 40 years, then we miss what happened after 1 year or 2 years or tomorrow or tonight. Did I ever think about marriage at that time? Perhaps. Did we discuss what our futures might be? Yeah, we did a little bit. But our concentration was on our feelings in that moment and the experiences with each other in that now 30 years ago time we spent. So perhaps it's about a matter of keeping our eye on our goals, but our focus on what's right in front of us, moment to moment. Shabbat Shalom. Let's go to our concluding prayers. We've got Aleinu on page 282. If you would please rise in body or spirit. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. Turn to page 294. And we turn to Kaddish Yatom. At this time, we recall those in our congregational family who have died at this season in years past, whose yahrzeits occur on this Shabbat. Francis Hale, Betty Rappaport, Barbara Lipson Kahn, Bruce M. Stiglitz, Jerome Glazoff, Joseph Labaton, and David Collins. I would like to ask if there is anyone here who's observing Shloshim, the first 30 days after the death of a loved one, or if you're in the first year after the death of a family member, or if this is a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one. If you'd please stand, and as I acknowledge you, tell us who you're here to say Kaddish for. Let us rise together, and we take those names into our hearts. We also say Kaddish Yatom for those that have known to say it for them. We say it for those lost in the Holocaust. We say it for all of those lives lost during COVID-19. And our thoughts also turn to all of those that have died in the violence in our world in recent days, as we say Kaddish Yatom together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon u'v'yom echon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'l'olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the one who causes peace to reign on high bring peace among us, all Israel and the whole world. And we say, amen. You may be seated. A couple of announcements. First of all, I felt like that cantor was the easiest cantor to work with ever. You know, I mean, you didn't see us arguing, nothing, right? But thank you to Elizabeth, our maestro. Thank you to Daniel back there, who was taking care of all of our stuff. Thank you to Kelly, who was our greeter. Thank you to Robert, who was guarding us, and who was making this place nice. Who's here tonight? Adrian would like to thank for being here, and thank all of you for coming. There is something we used to do when we had people live, and we stopped doing it because it was just me and the cantor in the room. But now we have people. Is there anyone here for the first time that we'd love to, hear your name and where you're from, which is always kind of fun? Yeah. Welcome from Tucson. That's a little bit exotic, isn't it? Yeah.
Brendan Mogler and Claire Hill, the Valley, and Boston.
Boston, you should have started with Boston, man. Are you a Red Sox fan? That's excellent. Go Sox. All right, thank you. So people can say hi. Welcome to Temple Emanuel. And we do have a couple of announcements. Tomorrow morning, if you want to join us, we have a special guest. Michelle's going to be singing with us. So it's going to be the two of us in the morning, which is always nice to do. So join us for that. We also have lunch at the end of that. Oh, wow, this is nice. August 12th, you might want to show up. We're going to do some reflections on our trip to Israel. We're going to show some slides, some video. But people are going to talk about their experiences and what moved them. So if you're interested in coming with us next year, take a look at this Shabbat, and you can find out how wonderful it was and learn how we can do this again next year. Anything else? Save the date. The 26th of August is our Welcome Back Billy Joel Shabbat. Only when the cantor's here do I think of parodies for this. I did not think of any tonight, so. How about it's 6 o'clock on a Shabbat Eve. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man with his talit and kippah, and he says, "Man, what are you doing here?" All right, that's enough. That was literally, that was it, right? I can't do this anymore. That hurts my head to have to think of this stuff. But it's going to be a great evening, so join us for that. There's lots of different ways to come to that. We have a dinner beforehand. We've got the service that's happening. Everyone is welcome to the service. There's no charge for that. There might be a minimal charge. And we're having a really special dessert afterwards. And we're honoring the Factors, who are longtime members, and Stacy Kessner, who was a longtime head of our ECC. It's going to be a great evening. And it's going to be like City Hall. So it'll be beautiful and outdoors. And are you going to be here? You in the band? Are you Billy Joel that night? Excellent. Let's finish our service. If you'd like to stand, put your arm around the person next to you. I know we're still in kind of COVID times. You may not want to touch, but it's always nice. Jews like to sway when they're singing. So we're going to sing Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. ברוך אתם בבואכם, ברוך אתם בצאתכם. You're blessed as you came into this space. May you be blessed as you go out. Shabbat Shalom.